Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive vulnerability in our digital world, the hidden verified account economy that's operating right in plain sight. We're going to unpack how global identity markets have become totally industrialized, and more importantly, exactly how they pull it off. So, $30. When you hear about major breaches in digital security, your mind probably jumps straight to sophisticated state-sponsored hackers or, multi-million-dollar ransomware syndicates. We always picture complex code and massive price tags. But what we're looking at today reveals a very different and honestly much more accessible reality. Because you might be wondering, what exactly does $30 buy you in this shadow economy? Well, for just $30, illicit actors are renting entire, fully verified human identities. And to be clear, we are not talking about stolen credit card numbers or bulk hacked passwords here. We're talking about real, living people actively renting out their identities for a one-off payment. It's a completely different business model, and it is happening at a massive scale.
Section 1. The Public Identity Bazaar.
We're starting not in the shady, encrypted corners of the dark web, but right on the brightly lit surface web of Facebook. These massive, public groups are openly trading verified accounts for major platforms. You know KYC, right? Know your customer? It's the standard regulatory process platforms use to verify you are who you say you are. Yet a simple Facebook search pulls up groups with thousands of members acting as literal open trading floors. They aren't even hiding. They've got names like KYC Bay and Cell Market, basically operating as digital bulletin boards for illicit identity brokers. This is a perfect example of just how brazen the whole thing is. Buyers are publicly broadcasting requests to purchase verified identities for shockingly low prices. WTB simply stands for want to buy. So here, someone is looking for a fully verified Etsy account from the Philippines, and they're offering a crisp $30 bill. They're trying to bypass geographic restrictions or platform bans by literally buying someone else's verified storefront access. And the sheer volume of this is just staggering. Buyers are putting in bulk verification requests for highly regulated financial platforms like Wise completely out in the open. Look at this. Need 20 Wise KYC, any EU country, instant payment. This isn't just a lone hacker messing around. This is an organized supply chain manager putting out an open purchase order for European banking access on a public Facebook wall. Absolutely wild.
Section 2. The Private Chat Pivot.
Now here's where things get really interesting, because the actual illicit transaction doesn't happen on Facebook. This is the core mechanism of this whole shadow market, the private chat pivot. Basically, a public solicitation aggressively funnels users into encrypted, unmonitored WhatsApp or Telegram chats. We see the bait, a public call for verifications on the crypto exchange Bybit, and it's immediately followed by the hook, which is a private WhatsApp link. The public social media post is just a billboard. The private chat is the actual storefront.
Even a tiny $3 request for a freelance Upwork profile pivots right off Facebook's radar and straight into the encrypted safety of WhatsApp. Someone wants a freelance profile verified using credentials from India, Kenya, or the Philippines. And for just $3, they're securing a fraudulent freelance presence, with the deal instantly locked down in a private chat.
So the crucial takeaway here is that this pivot is an industrialized funnel. By dropping that WhatsApp or Telegram link, these brokers are making absolutely sure that the most sensitive parts of the transaction, swapping ID photos, coordinating live face scans, exchanging payments, all of that happens entirely out of sight from platform compliance teams and moderators.
Section 3. Full-spectrum identity services.
Once you're inside these private chats, buyers aren't just getting some stolen, recycled passwords. They are buying comprehensive, live cooperation from real people. This KYC as a service directly attacks the core anti-money laundering assumption that a verified user is the actual person controlling an account. I mean, the entire financial security system is built on the idea that if John Doe's ID and face are on camera, well, John Doe must be the one clicking the mouse, right? This completely shatters that assumption. We're looking at an economy where individuals willingly act as digital frontmen for totally anonymous buyers. Providers in these chats deliver true full-spectrum services. They literally walk through these exact steps in real time to defeat sophisticated financial perimeters. It is not passive at all. The identity seller is sitting right there on the other end of that WhatsApp chat. When the buyer initiates a crypto exchange sign-up, the seller authenticates their actual physical document. When the platform demands a live selfie, the buyer sends a link to the seller, who actively completes the live face scan. And when the platform sends that one-time password text message, the seller just just forwards it right over. It is active, highly coordinated bypassing. We actually see actors explicitly recruiting everyday people for live face scans. They're paying around 200 Bangladeshi taka, which by the way is less than $2, just to pass a face verification. They're even offering bulk discounts. It's crazy. They are literally commoditizing human faces to trick the exact systems designed to keep fraud out.
Section 4. The high cost of $30. So why exactly does a $30 microtransaction in a private group chat pose such a massive threat to global security? Well, when identity becomes a cheap commodity, criminals use these rented accounts to wash illicit funds, bypass geopolitical sanctions, and orchestrate totally untraceable exit scams. If a bad actor wants to launder money, they aren't going to use their own name, they just route it through a rented identity from one of those WhatsApp groups. If someone is stuck in a sanctioned country, they just buy an EU-verified account to access restricted markets. And when fraudulent crypto projects do a rug pull and vanish with all that investor money, the registered founders often turn out to just be paid KYC actors sitting on the other side of the globe.
Which brings us to a terrifying realization. Passing a one-time verification check at the front door essentially means nothing if the identity was simply rented for the day. A KYC check completed correctly at onboarding now just provides a false sense of security. The very second that account is approved, the digital keys are handed over to someone else in a private Telegram chat. The onboarding check might have been totally flawless, but the account is immediately compromised from day one.
Section 5. Rebuilding digital trust. To combat this highly industrialized counter-infrastructure, platforms are being forced to rapidly adapt. They're shifting away from those one-time checks toward continuous behavioral monitoring, and they're actively tracking the very messaging clusters where these private chat pivots actually happen. It's just no longer enough to check an ID once and call it a day. Platforms are now monitoring device fingerprints. Like, did this account suddenly log in from a completely different continent? They're looking for behavioral anomalies. Did a brand new account suddenly start moving massive amounts of cryptocurrency? And crucially, compliance teams are getting proactive. They're actually hunting down these WhatsApp and Telegram networks, identifying the sellers, and preemptively blocking those identities before they can even be rented out.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. How can we possibly trust our digital systems when the keys to the front door are being sold right in plain sight for the price of a takeout dinner? The private chat pivot shows us that as long as there is a surface web to advertise on and encrypted channels to deal in, the human element is always going to be the weakest link in digital security. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking those tough questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.